Hello everybody, it's me Charlotte, and today I'm going to show you guys how to knit the Honeycomb Brioche Stitch. This is a very squishy, fun stitch. It is a 4-row repeat. It's going to take a little practice, but once you get it, you guys will fly right through it. This is the front. This is what the front looks like. This is what the back looks like. Now it's not like the typical brioche where the front and the back look the same, but the front looks really super nice, and it's, like I said, super squishy. I did one solid color here, and I did 2-color honeycomb brioche here, which is really easy too. Like I said, it is a 4-row repeat, and I want to say it is beginner friendly if you take your time and, you know, just practice. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. But first, I want to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so now. And if you'd like to follow me on Facebook, that link will be in the description below. All right, let's get started. Okay, here I have cast on 12 stitches. You need an even number of stitches. I like my first stitch to be a knit stitch and my last stitch to be a knit stitch. Just a nice little edge stitch. So keep that in mind. You want to cast on an even number of stitches and knit the first row, and I've already done that here. And now to start the pattern. Row 1. Like I said, the first stitch will always be knit. And for row 1, you start out with a knit stitch. So row 1 is knit the first 2, and then you're going to knit in the stitch below. And I've done videos on knitting in the stitch below before, but we will go over it really quick. To knit in the stitch below, you can see this little bar right here, and all you want to do, if you pull your work apart, you can see that hole right underneath that bar. If my camera would focus. Okay, oops. All right. There's that little hole right underneath this bar. There's a little hole. You just want to put your needle right into that hole and bring up a stitch. Okay, so you knit the next one. So the repeat is going to be knit 1, knit in the stitch below. Like you can see, here's that bar, and there's a hole right below it. You just want to stick your needle right in that hole, bring up a stitch, knit 1, knit in the stitch below, knit 1, knit in the stitch below, knit 1, knit in the stitch below, and then knit your last one. Okay, so that was row 1. Row 2. Row 2 is going to be a little tricky, but we're going to go over it. Like I said, the first and last stitch are always knit, so we're going to knit our first stitch. Now you know how on the previous row this one was a knit in the stitch below? Well, when you knit in the stitch below, it creates this extra bar on the other side. It was the original stitch that was on the needle that kind of gets dropped off when you knit in the stitch below. If you look, you can see it's kind of just this big bar, and all you want to do is put your needle into that bar and then go into the stitch. And then you're going to knit that stitch, and you're going to go underneath that bar. Now, if you've ever seen a honeycomb brioche tutorial before, they'll say you knit it together. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think you kind of just knit underneath it. So you slide that off, and then you knit 1. That will be the repeat. Again, you can see this. It kind of just flaps there. Kind of just a big floppy, looks like a yarn over kind of, that's just hanging like a lost stitch, drop stitch. You just want to go underneath it and then insert your needle into the next stitch on your left needle and bring up a stitch, but you want to go underneath that loose dropped stitch that you went under in the beginning. Slide it off, knit 1. Again, you can see this stitch right here is just a big floppy loose stitch. You want to go underneath it, so you just put your needle in it, and then you go into the next stitch as if to knit, and then you don't want to go up through that stitch, you want to go underneath that floppy stitch you picked up. or you went underneath. And then you knit one. And then you want to pick up that floppy stitch, just put it on your right needle, go into that next stitch as if to knit, and then you want to go underneath both of those stitches. Knit the next, pick up that bar, that floppy stitch, go into your next stitch, and you want to go underneath both of those stitches. Knit the last stitch, well, knit the next stitch, and then you're going to knit your last stitch. Okay, that was row 2. Now, row 3. Like I said, we are going to knit our first stitch. We're going to then go in to this. We're going to start with a stitch below. So we knit our first stitch. Now we're going to knit in the stitch below, knit one. 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 Knit in the stitch below, see that hole? Just go into that. Knit one, knit one. Our last one. Okay. Row 4. Again, always knit the first stitch. On row 4, we're going to knit the second stitch, and then we're going to pick up our bar. Here's that bar, that floppy bar. We're going to go underneath it, go into that next stitch, and we're going to go underneath both of them. Okay, I'll show you again. Then knit the next stitch, pick up our bar, go into that stitch, and we're going to go underneath both of those stitches. Again, knit the next one, pick up that bar, go into our next stitch, and we're going to go underneath both of them. Knit the next stitch, pick up our bar, go into the next stitch, go under both. Knit the next. We're going to pick up that bar here, go into our next stitch as if to knit, and go under both, and knit our last stitch. That was the 4-row repeat. You want to begin rows 1 through 4 until you're at your desired length. Then you can bind off any way you like. This bind off here was a stretchy bind off where I knit one, yarned over, knit one, and then passed the yarn over in the first knit stitch over the last stitch I just made. That was a stretchy bind off. I don't know if I really like it or need it. You could probably use a regular bind off. But yeah, that is the Honeycomb Brioche Stitch. If you're probably going to have to watch this tutorial a few times, but I hope you guys understand. I hope I made it clear enough for you guys to see exactly what I was doing. Once you get the hang of it, guys, it goes really fast. It would make a very nice scarf, a washcloth. I mean, you guys could even do a whole little baby blanket in it. But yeah, that's how you do the Honeycomb Brioche. So if you guys haven't yet subscribed to my channel, you should do so now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, that link will be in the description below. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a super wonderful, fabulous day, and happy knitting. Bye!